Okay, so let's do the tabletop first. You can either see it or you can do it simultaneously and then ask me questions, and I'll pause the recording if you have any questions. So a rectangle, now we are working here in mm. So we will directly put the size that we are looking for. I'll put 1200, 750. And I have a top. Now, the first thing we want to do here is make it a group. Abdul Rahman, a group is like a block in AutoCAD, so that it can move and we can place it again in the file that if we want. And we will also be creating components that I'll explain to you as we go on. So let's first create a group. Now we want to give it a thickness. So since we have already created a group, it will give you like a blue selected rectangle. If you want to enter the group and edit this object, you will have to double click it and you will see that a dotted line has enclosed it. That means we are inside the group. Now we can make any of the changes and then it will stay there. So let's use our push and pull tool to give it a thickness. Let's say 20 mm. I'll press 20 and enter. To get out of the group, you can just press anywhere outside the dotted box. Now you will see that it has created and I can move it without disturbing any of the geometry. Now we want the legs. So we will go to the bottom side. Dilal, last time I didn't explain you that we have a guides, like we use drafting lines in AutoCAD. In SketchUp also you can use that. To activate that, you can either go to your tape measure tool or press T on your keyboard and you will activate it. Now to draw any horizontal guidelines, you need to select a horizontal surface. Select it. You can see that it's told me that it's on the edge. You can click and now you'll see that a dotted line has appeared. This is an infinite line. This will act like your guidelines. Let's do the same thing on the bottom. So I want my legs to be 100 mm inside from all sides. I'll place all my guides. You just have to hover it over the vertical line if you want to activate the guides. 100. Now let's do the legs. So for the legs, again, we will use the rectangle tool or R on your keyboard. You'll click and we give the dimensions. So we want a 50, 50. That's a 2-inch leg. Now we will convert this into a component. You can right click on this and make it a component. You can name it as table leg. Okay. Now again, we need to enter inside this component. Now I'll show you what the difference between a group and a component is. So let's say we have this leg copied. We'll to copy it, select the move command, select any point, hit Control on your keyboard and leave it. You'll make a copy. Let's put it here. Now, since we've made it a component, let's also put it here in all the 4 corners actually. Now, since we have made it a component, if we entered in the component, that is, double click it, again, you will find that you are entered in the component. We'll use our push-pull command. Now, see what it's doing. It's changing all the geometries that is in the same component. So you don't have to make like 4 legs. It will do it for you. That's why it's very important to turn a geometry that is going to repeat several times into a component. So since we want our all legs to be similar, we created a component. Now we can give it a height. Let's say 100. Now we want the legs to taper down. So what we are going to do is we will use our offset tool or O on your keyboard and give it a thickness here or at the bottom. So let's say 10. We already have 100. So let's say 620. We want our leg height to be 720. So we will move this small object down. We will triple click it. It has selected all the boundaries and we will move. Sorry. It's not giving me an option. It's not selecting the object, so we will just, let me just show you another way. So we will give it.
I think we should use push and pull when after offset. So
yeah, so we have used it. I wanted to taper it, but it's not selecting my face. So I'll just show you another way. So let's say push again 620. Now we want the legs to taper. So what we will do is we will use the scale command. So we will select this face and we will use scale, that is S. Now, if you see that if I use these two, my legs will be tapering. You see that? So it's keeping one side the same and only this side is moving. So that's what we want. We want our legs to taper. You see? So we will either can select the diagonals or you can select this, whichever side you want to taper. Let's select the diagonal for uniform scaling and we'll just bring it inside, say 0.8. That's it showing me. Now, if you look at it, all my table legs have a tapered bottom. So we have created a basic table structure. Now, if you go to your outliner here, it's showing me all my components and all my groups. Do you see that? So if I select all my legs and make it a group, it will group it. Now I can hide the whole group or I can hide the individual objects that are in the group. So this is what the outliner does. It shows me different all the groups and components that I have grouped together. This we will use when we are doing a room where it has several objects and you want to hide only one group. You can use the outliner here and just hide what you need and what you don't need. If we again group this all together, you will see that I have a group within a group. So if you want to access and you have multiple groups, you can also rename these groups. And then you will know that, let's say table, you'll know which table you want to select. This is very important in terms of organizing your model. Let's bring it to 0, 0. So here we have a table. Now, if you want to delete all these guidelines, you can just go to Edit, Delete Guides. And there we have a table.